Welcome back to the urban farmyard where this city girl goes country. Today we're taking a look at how to introduce your new cat or kitten to existing cats you may have in the house. Let's go take a look. If you are about to bring home a new cat or kitten, you are going to go through the lovely task of having to introduce that new little creature to existing cats that you may have in your house. And there's a bit of a knack to doing that. We get a lot of inquiries from families wondering how best to manage the introduction process, and we get a lot of queries from people who are having problems and want to know what to do when their old cat spits the dummy, hates the new cat, and decides to leave the house, only coming back periodically. So today we're going to have a look at the way I introduce a new critter to my existing family. The first thing I prefer to do is introduce the new cat or kitten in a confined area. I like to bring them into the bedroom with me on the day that they arrive, and I like to give them an opportunity to hang out with me on their own with nobody else around to begin with. That gives them an opportunity to get used to me, get used to my smell, the sound of my voice, and check out their new environment without the intrusion of another cat being in the space. So I would tend to bring them into the bedroom, spend at least an hour with them, hanging out on the bed on my own, before then giving them an opportunity to roam around the room and check it out without anyone else being in their space. After a couple of hours, what I would then do is bring your existing cat or cats into the room. Now, if you have multiple cats, I would choose the one who is the best at adapting to other cats. So bring the friendliest, most outgoing, most receptive cat into the bedroom with them. Give them an opportunity to hang out together. Now, you can expect when you bring your existing cat or cats into the room that there's probably going to be a bit of melodrama. I have heard all manner of hysterics over the years as I've introduced many cats to our household. You will potentially get hissing and spitting and whining and squirrel tails and arched backs and all sorts of ridiculous behaviour. Just ignore it. The best thing you can do is remain calm. Cats feed off your nervous energy, so if you are really uptight and a bit neurotic about the introduction process, the cats are going to read that energy and they are also going to panic and wonder what all the fuss is all about. That then sets them off into a spiral of panicking, and it's all kind of downhill from there. So what I do on introduction day is I go into it with the belief that this is going to be completely fine. Yep, you're going to be a bit melodramatic, but you'll settle down and everyone will eventually be friends. Now, when you bring your cat into the room, I like to bring them in and close the door behind them. That gives them the opportunity to spend some time with the new cat or kitten without being able to escape. What I don't do is try to force them into extremely close proximity to one another. I don't expect them to sit together on the bed. I don't expect them to cuddle up. I don't expect them to have any direct contact. What I do is allow them their own space to decide how close or how far away they really want to be from their other cat or kitten. You will find that some cats, like Winston for example, will immediately go up to the new creature, sniff them on the nose, check them out, possibly give them a lick. Most cats probably aren't going to react like that. What you want to do is give them an opportunity to check one another out, but without having to be in direct contact with one another. Once you've brought your cat into the room, I would aim to spend a couple of hours hanging out with them, just checking that everything's okay. Now, wherever possible, I would aim not to intervene if there are any little scuffles that break out. Cats need to find their own pecking order. They need to sort of settle into a relationship with one another. And part of that process is someone might get hissed at and someone may get swatted, but 9 times out of 10, nobody is going to get hurt. Unless you find someone is really getting bailed up and really getting hammered and they are screaming, and the sort of scream that is a sound that goes right through you, I would just leave them to sort it out themselves. If things are becoming a little bit over the top, go and remove the newbie, give them some space, bring them back up on the bed with you, and just allow things to settle down again. Something that really helps the process of getting them used to one another is to bring loads of treats and tasty meat in with you. What I try to do is encourage a little bit of contact between them by setting up a dual feeding station. So about 1 metre apart, and let them sit and graze and eat together. This works really well because you're essentially setting up a reward system. You're encouraging your cats and rewarding your cats for spending some time in close proximity to one another. Now on day 1, you're probably not going to find that they want to eat a huge amount next door to one another. Although if your cats are really food motivated, you may find that they do just hoe in and happily hang out together from the word go. The other thing you can do is sit armed with a box of treats. Each time your new cat and existing cat come into contact with one another and behave appropriately, reward them both with a treat. Again, we are going through a positive reinforcement process by rewarding them for being nice to one another. Now, if the initial introduction goes well, you don't really see any howling or growling or melodramatic behaviour, it's okay to allow your existing cat to return to their regular routine. But if you find that the introduction doesn't go as well as you had hoped, don't panic. In that situation though, in the situation where your current cat is scared or hostile or a bit freaked out by the process, what I would do is I would restrict their access to the outdoors. The reason for that is if they have panicked when they've realised that there's a new cat or kitten in their home, if they've completely freaked out, there is a risk that by letting them outside again, they may choose not to come back for fear that the new intruder is still there. Instead, what I do is I like to give both cats access to the house and keep them both in the house so that they get used to being around one another. What I would do is keep both cats confined to the same room for the first 24 to 48 hours. What we're really wanting to do is to show the cats that they're actually not a threat to one another, reassure your existing cat that things are actually okay, that their world hasn't completely ended and that they don't need to leave home. But we're doing it in a way where they can't physically leave the house and go missing and refuse to return. Likewise, if you found that you originally had a good reaction and then subsequent to that your cat decides they're not that big a fan of the new little intruder, I would work on bringing your cat into the house and locking them in so that they do need to spend some time in the companionship of the new little cat or kitten. What you'll find is over time things start to settle down. While most cats will be melodramatic to begin with, they will eventually realise that their new little companion is not a threat. They will cease to be scared, they will cease to be hostile, and they will get used to the idea of somebody new being in their space. It just takes time. The best thing you can do though is remain calm. Keep the belief that everything is absolutely going to be okay. Continue to feed them together, give them lots of treats when they are close together and behaving nicely, and just give it time. Once things have started to settle down, it's absolutely fine to start letting your existing cat outside again. But don't be tempted to let your new cat out until they have been with you for at least 4 weeks. We have a video series on preparing your new cat or kitten for going outside, which is linked down below. I hope you've enjoyed today, and I will see you back here tomorrow.